So what is greenwash? Simply, it's misrepresentation in our marketing and sales messaging, creating skepticism. It's one of the largest discouraging factors, as we saw earlier, in driving people and organisations to act sustainably. Like a political whitewash, but applied to describe instances where promotion on ethical, sustainability and environmental grounds is inaccurate, is not proportional to the action that actually sits behind the promotion. So now we're going to look at a couple of examples of this. So the next three examples are taken from Greenwashing Index 2012. Rather than controversially pick any ourselves, what we did was just to take the top three that had been voted to the top on by the members of this website. The first is an energy company. Distinctly cheesy imagery, I think you'll agree, that the voters obviously felt misrepresented the organisation's position. Next, we've all heard about the problems with palm oil. This advert does little to address these concerns, as it takes us on a tour through these particular forests and tries to argue the case for sustainability. But obviously the voters on this website felt that these claims weren't actually reinforced and it was something that was tried to be glossed over. And then finally, we've got an example from an energy company that's come under attacks for both copying another organisation's brand identity in its promotions, but also the use of colours, claims and imagery. I would however suggest that many organisations and individual managers are not greenwashing through any purposeful intention to misrepresent or missell, but actually because they're not aware of the guidelines out there. They do not necessarily have the technical sustainability or marketing law awareness, and sometimes potentially within their communications department, to put the necessary steps in place to avoid the greenwash. You can avoid greenwash through some of these steps. Obviously doing things before talking about them. And when you do actually talk about them and promote them more, spend more on the doing rather than the promoting. There are examples where company logos out there as the basis for green marketing campaigns might have cost millions, but it was viewed by many that the sustainability efforts proportionally were valued an awful lot less, therefore seen as greenwash. It's also about being clear between what you actually aspire to and what you're going to do and intend to do and what your targets are than what you've actually achieved. These are very, very separate things, and therefore we need to really sort of substantiate and break those out well. But most of all, it's about being clear, specific, trying for constant improvement as ever in anything that's environmentally or socially related, and substantiating thoroughly. So DEFRA, who are leading on this issue of claim substantiation within the UK, regulated by advertising standards, after various research into sustainability communications, picked up the gauntlet for publishing guidance to avoid greenwashing and making a good environmental claim. This is a summary of some of the outtakes that we believe sit from that report. Be specific, accurate and quantify the claim. For example, if something is recycled in a product, say which bits there are actually recycled, what proportion of those recycled, what materials they come from. There are terms out there that are almost guaranteed to get you in trouble. Some of the ones that we looked at earlier in that graph, things like environmentally friendly, for instance. So just be careful to pick the right language and top and tail how you say these things to make the claim tighter in the eyes of regulation. Pseudoscience, as ever, across any category is a no-no. There are many comparative standards and clear ways of describing even the most technical processes. Simplicity is something that we should always be trying to achieve as marketers. If people think that you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes, they're unlikely to be brought into your brands. They'll be more skeptical. All this also applies to the images, the colours, the sounds, everything that we're actually doing in our promotions. So if we're using pictures of landfill sites or smokestacks with flowers kind of flying in the air from them. It's not good, obviously. It sounds cliche, but there's stock libraries, some of the most prominent ones, bursting at the seams with pictures like this, and they are being used across an awful lot of media.